I think this game kind of sucks. Let's get the background info out of the way. Assassin's Creed is a video game series about this ongoing war that has spanned ages, concerning the Assassins and the Templars. There's this device called the Animus, which allows you to view your ancestors' memories via your genetic code, which is the big selling point of these games. Getting to visit historic settings and locations, and also killing people. Killing people is fun. Assassin's Creed games had been doing pretty good since its inception in 2007 to the 6th mainline title in 2013, Assassin's Creed 4. Yes, I said 4. They received relatively good ratings, but there was some complaints of stagnation in the series because while the worlds and characters changed drastically, the gameplay stayed the same. So in 2014 we got this big guy. Oh. 2 big guys. Yeah, so Assassin's Creed Rogue and Assassin's Creed Unity came out in the same year and same day, November 11th, 2014. AC Rogue would be for the last gen console players, and AC Unity would be for the new gen players. How sweet of Ubisoft. But alas, we're not going to talk about Rogue, because I haven't played it yet, and that's not the point of this video. AC Unity would be for the next gen. A revamp of the old formula into something different. Beautiful, stunning graphics with the setting being Paris during the French Revolution. An interesting time period which could work well with the conflicting philosophies of the Assassins and the Templars. A compelling star-crossed lover story with said Assassin and Templar. A charismatic protagonist being up there with the likes of Ezio. Online co-op multiplayer. New gameplay with better stealth and combat. That's a lot of stuff. So does Unity achieve that? No! As much as people say that this game is an underrated gem and maybe secretly the best of the series, it's not. I'll tell you why, so let's go over the story. I don't even need to talk about the modern day that much because the game doesn't even care about it anymore. I mean, the entire modern day consists of like 3 cutscenes. I'll take this over the monstrosity of whatever Black Flags was. But I'd rather them just not even put it in there, because it's literally inconsequential to the story. Okay, now on to the actual story. Okay, oh my god, this is an Arno! We get to play as a Templar before the events of Unity, in the Temple of Paris, which is being attacked by none other than King Philip the Fair. This is an admittedly cool sequence, and honestly probably better than the whole game. Basically, Jacques de Molay has his advisor with hiding the Sword of Eden and a codex. You run through the battlefield, seeing a little showcase of the upcoming parkour and combat, with the added benefit of not being plagued by the bad stuff. You hide the relics and, spoiler alert, you lose. And 7 years later, Jacques de Molay are burned at the stake. Before that though, Jack curses the king and Pope. Alright, now, finally, the actual story. Oh my god, it's Arno! Arno, the little 8-year-old here, is the main character of AC Unity, and he's accompanied by his father, Charles Dorian, who have went on a business trip to the Palace of Versailles. He sits on a chair waiting on his father. He sees a girl running and decides to follow her. Arno goes on and steals an apple. The girl then introduces herself as Elise de la Serre. A crowd is going crazy, and in the midst of all this commotion is Arno's dead father, assassinated, leaving Arno under the care of a Templar Grandmaster, Francois de la Serre. 13 years later, Arno is at de la Serre's estate. A Templar messenger needs a letter to be delivered to la Serre, but he had already left in a carriage, so Arno takes the letter and tries to chase the carriage, but fails to deliver it. Arno slides the letter under de la Serre's door, and puts on a suit and infiltrates the Palace of Versailles, where he hears about a party going on where Elise will be at. Elise and Arno about to make this game adult only when a guard interrupts them and Arno has to leave. Arno spots de la Serre on his way out, but he's dead. Charles Gabriel Sievert frames Arno for the murder, and he's imprisoned in the Bastille. Arno is in prison, and he sees one day that one of the prisoners has his father's watch. Arno wants it back, but this dude gives him a wooden sword and they both duel. Arno has a schizophrenic moment and notices stuff on the wall. The prisoner is also schizophrenic and calls the schizophrenia eagle vision. He reveals his name as Pierre Belec and that Arno's father was an assassin. Arno was trained by Belec for 2 months until one day the Bastille was stormed by revolutionaries. So they used this opportunity to escape with probably one of the best uses of the leap of faith. That's the basics of the story, so before I tear into this game, let's go over the good parts, as I don't think it's completely bad. Good. Graphics and settings. This is the best looking Assassin's Creed game, hands down. It's impressive truly how it has stand the test of time from 2014 to now. Better looking than new installments. If you took out the HUD and UI, it would almost look like a movie. It's only made more beautiful with the collaboration of the elegance of Paris. They recreated this to a T. The buildings not only look good on the outside, but on the inside. The character models look amazing. They look like real people. You can feel their emotions. There's also like glitches, I guess, in the animus or something like that. You get these cool scenarios like scaling the Eiffel Tower during World War II. Generally interesting stuff. That's actually fun and immersive. Yet, I don't know why I'm doing this, or what it has to do with the story. It's heartbreaking that these graphics and settings had to be wasted on this undercooked game. Parkour. This is what could have been. This shows a true innovation. Parkour is like a return to form, an amalgamation of all AC parkour systems before. It's not as automated as 3 and Black Flag, and you have that freedom of choice like an AC2 with the newly added parkour and up-down system. This is a welcome change that adds new layer of control in parkour. It makes scaling down buildings and vaulting super fun. It's so flashy with the animation. Arno just has that exaggerated swagger of a French noble. Look up YouTube videos of AC Unity parkour and you'll be amazed at these neat little tricks that these guys are able to pull off with this. But it doesn't mean it's perfect. It's only good when it works, as Arno gets stuck sometimes, so it just goes through an automated sequence. Which means I think Ezio Trilogy has the best parkour. That's all my good points. Now on to the bad. Bad. Story. This story is so bland. It's one of the most forgettable stories ever. That's what makes it so bad to me. Sure, Syndicate has its moments, but the whole thing is so memorable. The characters are just there, lifeless husks to give the illusion of moving the story forward. I mean, the only characters that are worth some know is Elise and Arno, and I guess Belec. Arno is a weak protagonist. I mean, he can't even whistle. Arno wants to be like Ezio so bad, a charismatic, funny, witty protagonist. He has that in the beginning, but they go nowhere with it. Ezio gets like 20 years to grow and change, and 2 other games as well, so maybe it's unfair. Well, no, because Altair changes, Edward changes, they grow as characters. Arno is just a static character that is somehow even less interesting than side characters. How do you even do that in this game? The competition isn't that hard. I mean, I have to hand it to him, he might as well be the best assassin, because he blends in with all the rest of the characters. Alright, so instead of talking about Elise, because it's just the same as the rest of these guys, let's talk about this love story. Elise is a Templar and Arno is an assassin. They don't really go anywhere with this, their relation doesn't develop or anything, Arno is just a sim. I feel like most of the story's problems come from the sequence structure. It's 12 sequences, which looks like a lot, but it feels hollow like the characters. It only is like 2 or 3 missions per sequence. For context, Assassin's Creed missions were usually around like 5 missions per sequence on average, so you don't have time to flesh out any of the characters. Gameplay, combat, and stealth. These are some of the worst mechanics I have ever seen. Playing AC Unity for anything but the parkour is just a waste of time. I guess Ubisoft looked at the previous games and were like, we need to increase the difficulty a little. But what they did was make it not fun. I had to force myself to finish this game, so let's look at the stuff, because this is an AC game. The aggro distance for guards is way too far. Enemies can detect you from the other side of the world. Even when you're not even in a restricted area, they'll just come for you, because, I don't know, you gave them a bad look or something. The enemy reaction time is also quicker. They buffed the enemies and nerfed Arno. I already mentioned the guy can't whistle, but in place of that is the cherry bombs, which has one of the worst descriptions ever. It says right here, this is a sound-based tool, kind of like, oh, the whistle. But no, it's worse. It's a sight-based tool, as you throw the thing behind the guard and they don't even notice. I didn't use this thing because I didn't even know how it worked till like 8 sequences in. That's bad, that's horrible. Arno has the Phantom Blade, which is actually cool. I don't have any complaints with it. It looks cool and actually works and distinguishes Arno as a character. But the Berserker and Poison Darts are weakened. You see Chad Edward here had like 5 of these bad boys. Arno has 2 of each. Why? There's more of a reliance on tools now. They were kind of like an optional thing in the previous games. But when you're just sneaking around, you've got this brand new cover system to help you. Basically, it's a crouch button. It took them a while, but they finally got it. I will give them this though, it's a neat idea, but the areas feel very cramped inside. But easily the most broken gadget of all has to be the smoke bomb. Why engage with this boring stealth when you can just get to your target or objective, smoke bomb, and get away? They saved this game from being, well, even worse. Thanks, smoke bomb. On to the second-rate combat. This game clearly doesn't want you to do combat and wants you to focus on the stealth. I get it. Assassin's Creed combat was definitely very simple and easy, but it was so fun. The animations were clean and the sound effects were crisp. The enemies again are buffed, and if you get into a fight with more than 4 people, you can kiss your chances of living goodbye. But there's also a fight with the camera, because, Jesus Christ, I know Arno looks pretty, but I want to see the people fighting him, not him. The snipers have insane 360 no-scope accuracy, and with the removal of the dodge bullet button, you're gonna get hit, and it's gonna hurt. There's no counter kill option, only parrying, which leads to unsatisfying combat. You can't equip and fight with the hidden blade. I mean, you're an assassin, why can't you do that? So if you're stuck with swords and other weapons, why is Arno stupid? I guess it was being raised by the Templars. He's got dumb AI in him. But hey, if you don't want to fight, just smoke bomb. Miss the mark. This section goes to things that just miss the mark. So this game heavily marketed this huge, gigantic crowds that you could blend into. The NPCs would have their own animations and feel livelier. They don't. It's a boring addition. In fact, it makes the game worse. Parkouring on the ground is not fun, with super people hogging the ground and getting in your way. And these people aren't even that lively, they just have a bunch of them to give the illusion of it. But hey, some of the story missions inside were fun and pretty cool to look at. There's this weird, ugly filter on cutscenes that look like a grayish tint that makes everything look drab. Memory corridors, one of the staples of the franchise. You get to talk to your target before they died, but Arno just has the ability to look at their memories. This is a huge downgrade that should have been the staple. Of course, I can't talk about this game without mentioning the bugs and glitches that plague this game online. Is it fair to talk about them when they have been mostly fixed? Yes, I think it's totally fair. Games in the past didn't get the option of updates and patches. They were bad now. I personally didn't experience them as I played this after, but I guess my big gripe is that people act like after all these bugs and glitches were fixed, this game is now a hidden gem. I think the story and gameplay just don't hold up, and I did encounter some glitches with this game. Jermaine is the villain. He is one of the most dull villains. I can't even remember his motives or any lines from him. But hey, the final boss is actually one of the best parts, because it's memorable, and try something new. This actually feels like an Assassin's Creed boss fight. You have to assassinate him when he's not looking, or he uses bolts from the Sword of Eden to damage you. You're constantly on your toes because he can find your location, and it's actually fun. But once you beat him, a cutscene plays where Elise and Arno fight him, and then the sword explodes and kills Elise, but that doesn't matter because these characters suck. Arno assassinates Germain, and the time passes and he's a master assassin now. In 1808, Arno goes to the temple once again and discovers Germain's body has decayed, and they bury the remains in the catacombs of Paris. This game's story doesn't even matter. You can literally skip it.
All that we do, all that we are, begins and ends with ourselves.
Okay, so that was Assassin's Creed Unity. I hope you enjoyed, and let me know your thoughts on Unity in the comments down below, if you liked or disliked it. For my ranking, I'm gonna go with a low D tier, sadly. Bye!